BJ from Morgan Gumbo. I've got my guest here, Brian Suhre, and we're talking about different games. One of the ones that I wanted to talk to you about is a game I got to play recently, just last week, Endeavor Age of Sail. Have you played it or heard of it?
That's the new one. I played the old one.
Okay.
Is that the yeah, like 10 something like that,
I didn't play that one.
or
As
10?
you said, I played the new one. Helena Capel, who was on the show a couple of weeks ago, had talked about it, and I had seen it on the internet. And all of a sudden, the Southern Board Game Fest got a copy of it, and we were one of the guys, John, was showing it off at our Gumbo game night a couple of weeks ago. So, or actually last Wednesday, I liked it so much I played it back to back twice. When we finished it, we looked at the three other players and were like, man, I could do that again. And everybody agreed. That's typically a good sign of a game, right? When you want to play it back to back in one night.
Definitely. I don't remember it being too long of a game. Was it? I mean, I don't know
No,
if they changed in the new one, so maybe you'll.
we timed it. First one was about 70 minutes, and the second one we actually played in just over 45 minutes, close to 50
Wow.
minutes. What I liked about it, and I don't know if you're familiar with the changes or not, maybe you could tell me how this compares to the old one. Number one, what I liked about it was the production. Burn Island Games had just a fantastic production with this thing. The board art was beautiful. The production of all the little resources that were around on the board. I mean, it was just knocked it out of the park. It had that little game trays type insert where all your pieces just fit perfectly, and you could just take them out and put them on there. What I did like about it is a lot of the Euro games that we play are fairly called multiplayer solitaire. Coldwater Crown is not multiplayer solitaire, right? you have to know what other people are doing, or else you're never going to get that double action, that number two. I forgot what you call it, the flipping action, the stronger action.
It's just we didn't name the ones and twos yet.
Yeah, the number two action, the better action. If you're not paying attention to what other people have to say are doing, then you're never going to get it. Same thing with Endeavor. You absolutely have to pay attention to what other people are doing. Timing it right whenever you place, making sure you have enough influence in the different little areas of ports. I call them. I forgot what they call them. Shipping lanes, I think is what they call them. Did you find that to be the case in the old version? Was it also an interactive game?
Yeah, if I remember correctly, there was the board. You kind of had these interconnecting lines, and you were able to remove people's tokens. And I guess you can still do that. And then
There's battling. You could use your little cannons to take out somebody who's in the right spot. First game, we didn't do that much. We didn't realize the significance of coming in there and slicing out somebody right as you're trying to get into the port,
Right.
Hey, there's Bill Lassick checking in. Hey, what's up, Bill?
Evening.
Marshall Wells says, I got to play Endeavor this weekend. Quick, thinky, and tight competition. He is right. Our games, we did not know who was the winner until the very end of the game. We all felt like we were in it. There was one thing that I didn't really care for. It had a slave mechanic. Did the old one have that also?
Yeah, it did.
This particular rule set said you can leave it out as an optional one. We played with it the first time to see what it was. We didn't really find that it added much to the game at all.
Yeah, I think there was once I think at the time it was being, talked about in the forums or whatever that, you could leave it out. I don't know if that was in the rules back then, if you could leave it out, but it was someone had brought it up that you could leave it out. So
we tried it the second time and had just as good, if not a better time the second time. Our strategies were totally different because, as you know, when you play a game the second time, you said, well, that guy did this last time, I want to try that. And you kind of mixed and matched with the strategies. And then we found the slave mechanic it just wasn't necessary. So if anybody out there is either uncomfortable with it or wants to, try the game and not play with it, I'm telling you, you could leave it out and it's going to be the same experience, if not better. I really didn't find it necessary at all.
Yeah, I don't remember much about it. I know it was just a card or something like that, if I recall.
It was cards that would give you a boost in resources, but at the end of the game, they were negative points.
Oh, okay, I get you. Yep.
Yeah, so I can understand, but the boost was so minimal, and the negative points wasn't that much, although it is a very tight game, so I guess it could matter. But, there's Sean Jones checking in. Mr. Sean says, just played this for the first time last Saturday. I liked it, didn't use any slaves either. So, whether or not you're comfortable with the term or the historical, it felt I get it that's a part of history, but the mechanic itself didn't feel necessary to the game. Whereas Freedom the Underground Railroad all about abolition, well, obviously the theme ties in with the game itself, right? I think you can make a game called Endeavor without that aspect, and there's no problem at all. But I'll tell you, highly recommend Endeavor Age of Sail if you like interactive Euros. In fact, one of the guys that played, one of the guys that didn't get to play, I told him that everything he didn't like about Pioneers, the fact that Pioneers was pseudo interactive but didn't have a lot of interactivity, I said it's going to remind you of Pioneers a lot, but with a lot more interaction and a lot more depth. And that is Endeavor Age of Sail.